Coming up on School Matters.
Everybody just move your body, move your body, move your body.
They've got all the right moves, and now they're moving for a good cause. Why these students are on their feet, and why they're getting support from our nation's First Lady.
So I'm going to give you a check, so you get to go take this trip, and we want to hear about it when you get back.
Plus, it's a trip of a lifetime for this Duval County junior. Hear who rallied behind the student to send her on a journey to the nation's capital. And they've been searching for months, and now the Duval County School Board has decided who will be our next superintendent. We're taking a look back at the selection process and introducing you to Dr. Nikolai Vitti. School Matters starts now.
Hello, and thanks for watching School Matters, your source for everything going on inside of Duval schools. I'm Isabella Groff.
And I'm Julian Robertson. We've got a lot in store for you today. Reporter Evan Fernandez is standing by with more on a credit union that's breaking ground inside one of our high schools. How cool is that?
We also have our Alexis Grant in the studio with Superintendent Ed Pratt Daniels. He's got great news about the district's progress over the last few years.
But first, our top story. After nationwide search, our board has selected a new leader for the school district.
His name is Dr. Nikolai Vitti, but the board didn't make this decision without help. Here's a look back at how you helped them choose a new superintendent. You could say the process began in February, once the community learned that Superintendent Ed Pratt Daniels planned to retire after 36 years with the school district. Immediately, members of the school board announced they would begin a nationwide search for his replacement, a search they promised to keep open and transparent to the public. So in April, the board began hosting community meetings. They wanted input on what to look for when choosing the next superintendent of Duval County Public Schools. Board members held a total of 18 meetings all over the city. They invited a lot of people, including parents, teachers, business leaders, community stakeholders, and students. Of the 29 men and women who applied for the job, board members selected 5 semifinalists. And in late August, they interviewed all 5 of them. The entire process was completely open to the public. Anyone could watch the interviews in person or live through the district's website. After those interviews, the board narrowed down those 5 to 3. And about a month later, those 3 came back to Jacksonville for another round of public interviews. The board agreed. All 3 men were great candidates. But in a majority vote of 5 to 2, the board voted to offer the position of superintendent to Dr. Nikolai Vitti. Dr. Vitti is a father of 4 who has made a career in education. He has most recently worked in the Miami-Dade County School District and also for the Florida Department of Education.
As the district gets ready for a new leader, Superintendent Ed Pratt Daniels says we have a lot to be proud of.
He says this district has made a lot of progress in the last 5 years. School Matters reporter Alexis Grant is in the studio with Mr. Pratt Daniels and with more on the state of schools. Hi, Alexis.
Hi guys, it's always been the district's vision to make sure all students are ready for college or for the workforce once they graduate high school. According to the superintendent's recent State of the Schools address, more and more students are reaching that goal. Mr. Pratt Daniels, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
What are some ways that the district has been able to help more students succeed?
Well, the first thing we did was 6 years ago is we raised the graduation requirements. Now the state of Florida has followed us, but we're 4 years ahead of them. So we've had many more students graduating ready to go on to post-secondary education. Now for many like you, that's going to be a 4-year university. For others though, it's going into a high-wage career technical area that requires the same kind of academic preparation as if they're going to a 4-year university. So the most recent data we have, which is 2 years old, we had 83% of our graduates completing that kind of curriculum. The state had 60%. And so we're expecting a lot more of all students. So that's to their benefit. I know that means they have to work harder, but when they get out, they're going to be much better prepared for what they're going to face in post-secondary education. We've also, during that same time, raised graduation points by over 11 points. So we've raised expectations and raised the performance. Usually when you raise expectations, it's a higher bar. It's like the high jump. You raise the high jump bar, fewer people can jump over it. we've had more students reaching these higher levels. Now, I'm real proud of that. It's been a lot of work. The other thing that we've done is we've made sure that every high school has what's called an acceleration program. This is either the International Baccalaureate Program, ACE program out of Cambridge University, early college high school where the students have the last 2 years on a college campus and can get an AA degree, and then the AP Honors Program where you take at least 9 AP courses. And those are to mirror some of the programs we have at Paxton and Stanton and to kind of equalize this reputation issue of whether or not you can go to one of our comprehensive high schools and get a great preparation to go on to a very competitive university. We've made sure that's available to all students regardless if they're in their neighborhood school or in a magnet school.
Okay. And in your opinion, what does the district still need to do in order to continue this success?
Well, obviously continue to see where do we have groups of students who aren't making enough progress. What do we need to help them? At each student level, we want students to be promoted, ready for the next grade level. So to the extent we still have overage students who aren't being promoted, how can we help them earlier? We've put in place a lot of work in earlier reading because we saw that the students who weren't graduating, there was a direct correlation with the fact that they came into kindergarten farther behind other students and never caught up. So continue that focus in kindergarten to second grade reading to improve the percent of students who are prepared in third grade, continue the investments in professional development, the work we've done in summer that's been nationally recognized, and then work more on the perception with the community, with parents, with other leaders in terms of turning around the perception are some of the things that need to happen. Obviously with the 4 new board members out of 7, new superintendent, one of the things is going to be helping them get together and be on the same page in terms of where they're going moving forward, how to get there, and so some team building to make sure they're working together as a team, which is critically important for moving the district forward. And I'm looking forward to seeing even further progress after I leave.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Don't change your channel because I'll be talking to Mr. Pratt Demos again soon. You won't want to miss it. For now, back to you guys.
Thanks, Alexis. So just imagine being able to go to school and work at a credit union at the same time and in the same place.
That is becoming a reality for many students at one of our high schools. Our Evan Fernandez is here to explain how the district is making this happen. Evan?
There are only 2 high schools in our district that have a Vystar credit union branch on campus. One opened at Wolfson last year, and now there's a brand new branch opening at Ribault High School. They may look young, but they are very accomplished. These students are among the brightest new employees of Vystar Credit Union, and the best part is they'll get to do a lot of their work while at school. Thanks to this brand new Ribault High School Trojan branch, students will get to work towards their dreams while they continue to work towards their diploma.
I think that's part of what we want to do for students is try to change their lives and change their opportunities, and that's what we often do all the time.
Terry West, the president and CEO of Vystar Credit Union, was one of the many people who came out to celebrate the ribbon cutting, along with the superintendent and board members Martha Barrett, Betty Burney, and Paula Wright.
Not only are they excited, they are engaged, but also they are learning about so many different roles within banking, within life, that they can now achieve and dream.
The branch won't actually open for business until the spring, but already a dozen Ribault students are working inside Vystar branches in Jacksonville.
I do appreciate the opportunity that we've had to work with Vystar, because now that we're working with Vystar, I'm actually considering going into accounting in college.
This academy has truly been a labor of love for me.
Alfred Aviles is the director of the school's Academy of Business and Finance. He says to earn those positions, students went through a lot of training both in class and over the summer with Vystar.
So the students are actual Vystar intern employees where they go to Vystar on the off time and they earn a paycheck. And while they're here, they're earning a credit towards graduation.
They'll also get an opportunity most students don't get while in high school, figuring out if this is what they want to do for the rest of their lives.
Not all of you may go into finance, but you'll know whether or not you want to go into finance at the end.
Students like Kenesha Morgan say they're grateful for the experience.
It's actually amazing. My communication skills has gotten better. I'm finding myself being very professional even outside of work, in school. Everybody doesn't have this opportunity, and for it to be at Ribault you always hear about the bad things at Reebok and never the good things at Reebok. And to be able to brag about the good things is awesome.
Did you know 125 students applied for one of those 12 positions at the branch? All of those students were interviewed at the school, and of those 125, 40 were interviewed by Vystar. And you can say the rest is history. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Evan. And we're just getting started with this episode of School Matters. Coming up, she says she's looking for the best and the brightest. And that's why she came to Jacksonville. We'll show you which middle school is getting a visit from the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, and why this officer says students have what it takes.
And you'll want to watch as these students jam out to Beyonce, all in the name of staying fit. We'll explain why schools all over the country are joining in.
And School Matters reporter Alexis Grant is back in the studio with more on a summer reading program meant to help students get up to speed. What the results mean for Duval County students and their families. School Matters, we'll be right back.
I care. Hi, I'm Ed Pratt, Superintendent with Duval County Public Schools. And I want to remind our students as we begin the school year to get plenty of rest, to read each night, to get exercise each day, and to set and attain high goals.
I'm Mayor Alvin Brown, and I want to encourage you to make sure you eat a healthy breakfast and attend school every day. You have to be in the game to win the game.
I'm Jeremy Mincy, defensive end for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Respect yourself, your parents, your teachers, and your classmates. Success is a team effort.
And I'm Sheriff John Rutherford. Make good choices, and remember that every decision you make has good and bad consequences. So choose your friends wisely, and don't give in to negative peer pressure.
We all care.
Here's an alarming statistic. More than 23 million children and teenagers in the United States are obese or overweight.
But here in Duval County, we're not just talking about obesity. We're doing something about it. And at one of our elementary schools, that meant getting on our feet to jam. It's a sea of red here at Biscayne Elementary School. Every single student and teacher is making their way to the playground, ready for the big event.
They were very excited about it. It's our first big school event. They all wore their red school shirts, very excited.
And it wasn't long after everyone found their places, the music started, and the whole entire school was dancing.
It was awesome because I like to dance and I like to exercise.
What may look like a big dance party is really Jam 2012. Jam stands for Just a Minute. It's a national campaign backed by the First Lady Michelle Obama, and it encourages students across the country to come together and dance for just a minute. It's not just about having fun, but getting healthy.
The life lesson is, it just takes a minute to get some physical activity. Don't be afraid of it. Get up, move your body. It just all fits so well together today, so that's the whole thing, lifelong movement.
But here at Biscayne, everyone danced a lot longer than 1 minute. It was more like 4 or 5. And their song of choice? Move Your Body by Beyonce.
Don't just stand there on the wall. Everybody just move your body, move your body, move your body, move your body, move your body. Everybody wants you move your body. Everybody wants you move your body. Everybody.
It took students a lot of practice to get all the moves down.
It was difficult at first, but when you start getting along to it, it becomes easy.
But they know this is more than just a dance. It's one key to a better lifestyle.
She was telling us that it was to prevent childhood obesity, so like when children grow up, they're not as they're healthy.
In the end, students walked away knowing they made a difference in the fight against obesity. And they say it doesn't hurt that what we're doing here at Biscayne is endorsed by the president's wife.
Because she's like the first lady and she does stuff for the people instead of just standing in the background.
They knew that they didn't have to be perfect, that Beyonce wasn't going to come in and be watching them, so they just did their own moves, because that's the whole idea of this Jam World Record 2012, was to just move your body and get some exercise.
In case you were wondering, Biscayne wasn't the only school participating in Jam. Thousands of schools all over the country danced to the same song, on the same day, around the same time.
That is a really cool event. But now let's check in with Evan. He's joining us with some good news going on inside our schools, including a military officer looking for talent in Jacksonville.
It's never too early for any student to start thinking about college. And in the case of Eugene Butler Middle School, students had a chance to get a taste of what college would be like if they went to the United States Military Academy at West Point. This was all thanks to a visit from West Point's Major Betty Myrtle. Major Myrtle says that she travels the country encouraging students to apply to West Point. After all, it's a free education for everyone who gets in. So you may be wondering, why did she choose to visit a middle school? Myrtle was there to promote West Point's STEM workshop, a workshop just for middle school students. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And West Point offers a workshop that gives students a hands-on look at how important STEM fields are to the military.
We help them with a bridge design. They'll help design a bridge. We introduce them to helicopters. We introduce them to planes. They'll design all types of engineering aspects. And not only that, but we bring them to West Point with all the latest technology. They'll get to touch stuff they'll never have the opportunity to be able to touch or see just in any other school, because we have the resources and the ability to be able to do that.
Myrtle didn't just talk about the workshop. She reminded students how important it is to start thinking about college by preparing for high school and also tests like the SAT and ACT. A Robert E. Lee High School junior has a lot to celebrate. She's not only taking a trip of a lifetime, she's also getting help from the mayor and local credit union. This is video from a check presentation inside of Mayor Alvin Brown's office. The person receiving the check is Chanel Porter. Over the summer, Porter was accepted to be part of the high school presidential inaugural conference in Washington, D.C. That means she'll be in the nation's capital for the inauguration. But being able to attend the conference cost thousands of dollars. Because Porter was part of the mayor's Learn to Earn program, the mayor's staff learned about her dilemma and wanted to help. Vystar Credit Union stepped in and gave her a check for $3,550.
I'm very thankful and blessed that this has happened to me. Not a lot of opportunities happen for kids. It's going to first get me to DC, and then I think it's going to open doors for a lot of other kids who are trying to, do programs like this, but they don't have the right funding.
Porter's principal also attended the ceremony inside of Mayor's office. Porter is part of the early college program at Robert E. Lee High School. As part of her trip to Washington, D.C., Porter will have a chance to hear from speakers like Condoleezza Rice and General Wesley Clark. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Evan. Making sure the students are able to read at their grade level is very important to the school district.
The district hosted the Read It Forward JECS K-2 summer reading program, meant to help students get up to speed before the new school year. Alexis is joining us with the latest on that program.
Right now, I am joined by Jackie Bowen, Executive Director of Secondary Programs. First of all, who was this program geared toward, and why was this so important to the district?
Well, this program was specifically geared towards our kindergarten, first and second grade students. And it was so important to the district because we have found that many of our students, although they're being promoted and they're moving forward through school the way they should be, once they get to upper higher grades, they kind of tend to struggle a little bit because they're already coming in a little weak. So it was important to us because our main goal is to ensure that all children are graduating on time. And so we wanted to make sure that any child that was promoted had a very strong foundation in reading and that we were able to help remediate them or push them forward as soon as possible.
Okay. What was done to help students get to where they needed to be, and was this successful?
Well, one of the things that we did is that we really looked at the individual students. So we had over 1,300 students that attended, and we took the data that we had gathered from them during the year, and we really kind of built a program that was specific to them. So they had some small group instruction, they had some one-on-one time, and knowing that they were young, we also put in some fun learning activities. So they still had recess, they had art, they had music, but we really wanted to give them that additional very direct instruction in reading. And we had over 28% point gain in that amount of time. So the kids really came out ready to go in the fall, and we're really excited.
Okay. Now that this is over, is it something that the district will be doing again?
We will definitely be doing it again because our goal, like I said, is to ensure that every child is reading on grade level by grade level. And with the amount of gains and the growth that we saw in children this summer, we are very dedicated to ensuring that all of our kids are leaving our elementary schools ready to read and ready for college.
Okay. Thanks for joining us. For more information about the district's reading assessments and what you can do to help your child, be sure to visit duvalschools.org.
Thanks, Alexis. We've still got a lot more ahead on School Matters, including more on our other show, Real School. Show host Lola Myers is joining us from Landon Middle School with a sneak peek of what's ahead.
Plus, Alexis is speaking with Superintendent Ed Pratt about his time here at the district. We'll be back in just a moment. But first, we want to give you a chance to get to know us better. Each month, we're going to take some time to tell you a little bit about ourselves. And this month, we're introducing you to Evan Fernandez.
It's an accelerated program for kids that are interested in academia.
I was accepted into Princeton.
Liberty University.
The University of Florida.
By earning college credit, so I will be able to save money and enter that college ahead of the program.
What Duval County is trying to do with all these different programs is perfect for the student who wants to be challenged.
He's been with the district for 36 years, and he's been everything from a teacher to a principal.
But most people will remember Ed Pratt for being the superintendent of Duval County Public Schools. Alexis Grant is joining us now with Mr. Pratt to talk about his time here at the district.
I bet Mr. Pratt has a lot of great memories of both working in the classroom and also working as the head of the district. As you get ready to retire, what do you think will be the thing that you miss the most about working here?
Well, the thing I miss most is what I've been reminded. I've been trying to get into every school before I leave. I'm up to 120, 130 schools out of the 170. And it's obvious what I miss is that interaction with students, with teachers, with principals on what's going well, what needs to improve, how can we help support them better, and to see the magic of happening with teachers and students in the classroom, that engagement. We can see the higher expectations of students, even down to first grade. We can see them being challenged more. And so it's the interaction with the people, both here at the district office and throughout this district and in the schools that I'll miss the most.
What is one thing that you're really proud of accomplishing here while at the district?
Well, I think pulling people together around this strategic plan. Obviously, it took the board to be co-partners in that and to focus on those areas. And as I've shared earlier, some of the indicators we've had where we've made great progress over the last 5 years is because of that focus on preparing more students to be ready for post-secondary education and for careers. And the second thing would be how we've done that in partnership with both government, other education institutions, and particularly a lot of the nonprofits. We work very closely in areas like creating what are called multiple pathways. We had too many students who were leaving who didn't fit into a traditional school, and we needed to look at different ways of meeting their needs. And we've created a lot more opportunities for students to be able to connect with the right program and the right teachers in the right place, and to be able to continue their progress towards ultimate completion of a high school that means something, high school diploma that means something, which in Duval County that does. So I'm real proud of both of those. Where we've gone and how we've gotten there, I think, are two great milestones.
Okay. And what advice do you have for the new superintendent of schools?
Well, that's a tough one. I think, first of all, Dr. Vitti is a very bright, very dedicated person, and I think he will do well. Obviously, it's coming into a new community, and first time as superintendent. He's had major roles in a district, but there will be a lot to learn, and I think he'll be a learner. I think he'll ask people questions. I think he'll seek the history, the rationale as to why we did things the way we did, and then he'll create his own path. So I think what I said earlier about an early retreat for him and for the board would be really helpful in terms of them pulling together as a team, because that's really critical for them to be able to move the school district forward. That doesn't mean they're always going to agree. I mean, that's understandable. But as I tried to frame it when I first came in, to disagree agreeably, to keep the team together despite the fact it's sort of like a family. Despite the fact you have little squabbles, you're still a family. And so I think creating that atmosphere will be key. And again, that's not just up to Dr. Vitti, that's also up to the incoming board to establish that with each other and with the new superintendent.
Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for all of your hard work. That's it from me here. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Alexis, and thank you, Superintendent Pratt Daniels.
Before we go, we're going to hear from one of our real school hosts about what they're working on for their next episode. Here's Lola Myers.
Hi guys, I don't know about you, but I'm really excited for this next episode of Real School. The sky is literally the limit for a group of high school students as they take the classroom to the clouds. We're going up in a hot air balloon at Frank H. Peterson Academies of Technology. Why, this wasn't just about fun, but also about science. They may be too young to vote, but that didn't keep these Mayport Middle School students from casting their ballots. We'll take you inside this mock presidential election and reveal which candidate got the most votes.
Well, this year I nominated Ms. Brown, and she is our winner.
And we've got not one, but two amazing surprises for two great teachers. We'll tell you how two elementary teachers are getting recognized for all of their hard work. Those are just some of the stories we're working on. This episode of Real School will premiere Sunday, November 4th at 10 a.m. on WJCT. From Landon Middle School, I'm Lola Myers. Now back to you in the studio.
That's it for this episode of School Matters. Until next time, thanks so much for watching.
Remember that it doesn't stop here on TV. You can always head to duvalschools.org for more great stories going on in the district. And don't forget to check us out on our Facebook page and our Twitter account.
From all of us, have a great day.